power is a lot like real estate. It's all about location, location, location. The closer you are to the source, the higher your property value. Centuries from now, when people watch this footage, who will they see smiling just at the edge of the frame?
So help me God. Congratulations.
Hey folks, it's Jim from the Movie Wine here to review the new series House of Cards, an adaptation of the BBC series of the same name, which is based on the novel by Michael Dobbs. I want to say right now that this is a mostly spoil-free review. Aside from a few initial episodes, I want to keep certain details light regarding any fates to characters. Consider this more as a recommendation than an in-depth review. Set in Washington, D.C., Francis Frank Underwood, played by Kevin Spacey, is an ambitious Democratic congressman and the House Majority Whip. Following his assistance in assuring the election of President Garrett Walker, played by Michael Gill, Underwood is informed by Chief of Staff Linda Vasquez, played by Sakina Jaffrey, that the existing agreement to appoint him Secretary of State will not be honored. Furious at Walker's portrayal, Underwood and his wife, Claire, played by Wright, an environmental activist head of the CWI, the Clean Water Initiative, begin seeking out pawns in a protracted political war against Walker and Linda. Soon brought into the fray is troubled Republican Peter Russo, played by Stoll, a divorced Pennsylvania congressman who has 2 children, an affair with his assistant Christina, and a history with alcohol, drugs, and hookers. Another associate is Zoe Barnes, played by Kata Mara, a young ambitious political reporter for the Washington Herald newspaper who has a working relationship with Frank and an occasional sexual one too. I watched the first season of House of Cards the weekend it premiered, where Netflix put all 13 episodes online. Some will have a different approach to how to watch them, and admittedly it isn't until the second half where episodes end off on a cliffhanger, leaving you hitting the play next button option. I'll probably get around to rewatching the series in a slower format in the next few months, or at least when Season 2 rolls around, which cannot be soon enough if you ask me. Yes, I'm highly recommending House of Cards. Part of that reason is Kevin Spacey was given more to do than as of lately. The role is tailor-made for him, and he takes on with relish. A friend of mine and I were discussing how Frank Underwood will be one divisive character. If you need to like your main character, you might find this show troubling to watch. Still, like Tony Soprano or Walter White, you may find yourself strangely rooting for the man as he manipulates and uses people to get to the top. Frank would probably argue that he's just playing the game. I don't have much to comment on the character's ability to break the fourth wall, but it would be interesting if other characters like Zoe, given her profession, could do it as well. Still, I don't find it off-putting, and it adds a little more personality to this political thriller, which is basically the antithesis of The West Wing, filled with cynicism and double dealings. Watching Frank do his thing is like a chess game, biding his time while carefully setting up the pieces for a win. It gets a bit more interesting when Frank struggles, though, within the second half, dealing with the likes of Peter Russo being more trouble than he's worth, Zoe Barnes investigating his business, and Claire, who's working in collaboration with her husband, has taken a sour note, pushing her into the arms or bed of photographer Adam Galloway. While it's nice to see Wright given a substantial role, her past relationship with Galloway, played by Ben Daniels, just isn't that interesting. At least with Frank's affair, it could very well bite him in the ass. It took time to warm up to, but I did find her environmental work more intriguing as the series went along. Still, as Claire, she has a strong relationship with Frank that is mostly open and compromising. These are 2 adults, they're not children. They're a supportive team. It's an odd and at times distant marriage, but for them it works, and it's also when we see the most humanity come from Frank, if there is any. One episode indicates Frank's humble beginnings, which makes some of his cruelty easier to swallow. Sister of Rooney Mara, Kata Mara, has a stronger, striking resemblance to her sister than I initially thought, and this petite girl is not to be underestimated as Zoe. She's smart but still naive, unsure of what she wants, despite what you might say, but she can still go toe-to-toe with her boss or Frank himself on some occasions. She, of course, represents the new generation of the Twitter sphere, where journalist integrity is not necessarily important. I was a little disappointed to see her fall a bit more into the backdrop in the middle of the season, given very little to do, coming off more as a colleague to her female enemy turned ally, but the closing chapter sets up for new possibilities. I also have to briefly mention Stoll's performance as Congressman Peter Russo, whose slow redemption is followed by some shocking twists with Frank when things head south. He's charismatic and kind enough for you to root for him, but his demons are usually not far away. Russo's character has a large impact in Season 1, and might even have a bigger one in Season 2. I'll leave it at that in fear of spoilers. Also, Michael Kelly is superb as Frank's right-hand man, Doug Stamper, taking care of some of the dirty business. If there's any character who walks a fine line in the show between manipulative and sparingly sympathetic, it's him. Produced by director David Fincher, writers Beau Willimon and Eric Roth, and Spacey himself, House of Cards is not lacking production qualities. Clearly, Netflix made it a worthy investment in the show. While not as beautifully shot as the best episodes of Breaking Bad, it's not dry or dull either. The color palette that Fincher establishes in the first 2 episodes is carried throughout the season, no matter who directs it, while Jeff Beal's score is usually present and memorable. It could honestly pass as an HBO show. I was under the impression that this would only be a mini-series, but upon further research, a second season is in progress, which is more evident by some of the loose strings after the season finale. As far as I know, I believe this story will be wrapped up by the end of Season 2, which might not be a bad thing. I don't know if this show has the longevity to last season after season. It'll be interesting to see if Season 1 is considered an overall hit, but I might be willing to go along for the ride as long as I have to see the power-hungry Frank Underwood obtain what he wants. So as I said before, I'm highly recommending the series. If you have a Netflix account but were undecided if you wanted to watch the series or not, I suggest checking it out. After you're done, feel free to leave a comment or a video response down below and let me know what you thought of the first season, but please keep spoilers down to a minimum. Thanks again for watching. That's it from the Movie Rewind. Have a good day, folks. Until next time.
Take a step back. Look at the bigger picture. That's how you devour a whale, one bite at a time. Give and take. Welcome to Washington.